The first thing is that I would like to say that there are 5 trends that the country is witnessing today. 3 of them are dangerous. 2 of them are a great potential for this country, for India. The first is, most dangerous one, is corruption. And those of you who are following Indian news, you know that one international body of lawyers and journalists have now released addresses of those who have secret bank accounts in tax havens. And it has just come out, so you will see this is a developing story. And there are addresses where you can identify people. So the total amount of money that Indians have abroad is $1.5 trillion. Even the GDP is not $1.5 trillion yet. $1.5 trillion, if they come back to India, what a difference it would make. And they can be brought back. There are methods of doing so. But corruption is a multidimensional disease for India. It's not a question of I taking money and becoming illegally rich by misusing my position. The impact of this money on the economy is something that you must know. First of all, because of corruption, you get substandard goods. You can get your food articles adulterated. There's nothing you can do because of corruption, nobody gets prosecuted. If you have a road, the man fudges the tender, the minister, and you get a road which after one rainfall disappears. That suits the minister because next year he again puts out a tender for repair of the road. So the thing goes on like that. Or they will do something like Ram Setu, which was the most idiotic project ever conceived, where they decide to dig a canal on the seabed. Now, the seabed, the geologists warned, should not be deeper than 11 meters. And otherwise it will hit some of the soft parts of the earth and there will be a huge explosion. So 11 meters deep means no ship which has a tonnage more than 30,000 can go through that. So what will happen? How many ships are there in the world which are tonnage of 30,000 and less? 5%. 95% today are over 1 lakh tons. So only for 5% of the ships you are going to construct this underwater canal. And the only company I know which had large number of ships which were having less than 30,000 tonnage was T.R. Balu, the shipping minister's son. He had a company where all its ships were less than 30,000. So obviously it was meant to facilitate his son and at the cost of Ram Setu. Furthermore, because the canal was under the water, you needed a pilot ship to take another ship through. And it was not broad enough for 2 ships. There is one ship goes this way, then another ship can't come at the same time this way. Ill-conceived project. And furthermore, the ocean waves were going to deposit sand over and over again. So that the canal is not covered up, you had to dredge every week the sand out. And that meant a contract of 1,000 crores a year. And it was awarded to the other son, because T.R. Balu has 2 wives, so he has a son by each wife. His other son got the contract, which means he was going to get 1,000 crores guaranteed for the rest of his life if this project had gone through. Fortunately, when the Supreme Court got it stopped, now all that remains is that I want the Supreme Court to declare Ram Setu as a national monument so that the state will look after it, preserve it, and allow for pilgrims to come and go and make arrangements for it. This black money is spent on what? It is not for building assets. It is spent on luxury goods. It is spent on land. That is why land prices in India will keep on going even if the economy is nosediving. Land prices will keep on growing in India. Property market never affected in India because black money is going into it and it's becoming so expensive that it's impossible to get a flat for 20 lakhs in Bombay today. This is because the money that is being put in through the black money. So your property market is, hitting the sky, and that's a distortion because property shouldn't be so expensive as it's in India. Not only that, they buy all kinds of luxury goods and build houses which are palatial with all kinds of marbles, etc. So the net result is that the rate of return on investment in luxury goods is much higher than the rate of return on goods which serve the common man, like cloth, and things like that. So today we find in India, our investment priorities have been so distorted that 70% of our investment is going directly or indirectly for the luxury goods sector. And a poor country, in sense that you have more than 25% of population below the poverty line, to have 70% of the investment going for the luxury goods sector, this is a total distortion. Then agriculture the agricultural products prices fluctuate widely because this cash is used for forward trading by industrialists. Today, Reliance or any of these SR and so on, they go to the wholesale market when the produce comes, buy it, put it in cold storage, artificial shortage is created, the agriculture prices shoot up, and then they sell, and then it comes down, then goes up again, by the same process. And this way the common man is harassed to no end, only because the black money is being used for forward trading. Fourth is much more serious, and that is that some of the black money is transferred abroad to illegal bank accounts. And the procedure is you give the money to the Hawala operator. Hawala operator will go to Dubai, and from there he will telephone his agent in Switzerland saying, I have got so much money in rupees, kindly deposit in this password, in this account, in this bank, so much in dollars. That is the operation that takes place. Now in Dubai, no Hawala operator can do business unless he does salam to the ISI of Pakistan. So the ISI of Pakistan knows which minister has how much account, how much money in which account in which country. And that's a huge power for blackmail. Many people ask me, why are we so soft on Pakistan? I am saying that today's politicians are afraid to touch Pakistan. Because tomorrow maybe Times of India will carry a bank invoice of their name of a foreign bank account, and that is the end of their career. So this potential for blackmail is creating a weak effect leadership in our country. So this is one dangerous trend, this corruption. We've got to find a solution for that, and there are solutions. The solution is that if you catch somebody, then make sure, no matter how big he is, and bigger the better, he goes to jail. That process had never been there for the last 30, 40 years, till for the first time on 2G. The process is begun, and it is continuing. Yesterday, the CBI announced that they have decided to frame charges against the Maran brothers, and these Maran brothers on the Aircel Maxis deal, where an Indian company was forced to sell the company to a Malaysian entrepreneur called Anand Krishnan, who was running a company called Maxis, and it was a totally illegal deal. And as a consequence, we found that a company which has links with the LTT was able to penetrate our country. Earlier, when the 2G licenses were given, many of the companies who got the licenses sold it to foreign companies. Swan Telecom, which was not even a telecom company, was a real estate company. That company sold its license to Etisalat, And Etisalat's board of directors full of Pakistanis. His workforce is Pakistani. And if they were going to set up towers around the country, it will be the Pakistanis who will be coming and setting it up. And that means free access to ISI people in disguise. So I had gone to court and wanted the licenses to be cancelled. And the first time in the history of India, awarded licenses, all 122 of them were cancelled in one go. Interrogation. Now, of course, custodial interrogation is over, so many of them are out in bail. But they will go back once they are convicted. That could happen at the end of this year. Raja went to jail after I had filed a private complaint. People don't know that private citizens can file a complaint and can be appointed as prosecutors also. I filed the complaint before the CBI filed its complaint. I went and filed a complaint in the trial court saying that I want to prosecute Raja. And the court took the complaint, then I said, I must prosecute the case. So the court said, how can you prosecute? You're not a lawyer. You're not even if you're a lawyer, you're not in the list of those who are designated by government to be appointed as prosecutors. Public prosecutors are public officials, and they have to be recommended by the government. How can we appoint you? I told him that's true for murder and other things. But under the Prevention of Corruption Act, the person who files the private complaint, he can be, if the court thinks fit, appointed as a public prosecutor. So he said, show me where it says. So I read out section 5, which said that. And the judge said, I never knew this. Nobody has ever pointed out this. To those who say we need new laws, they have not read the laws. Our laws are sufficient. Just got to get it implemented. So I was appointed. No sooner I was appointed, there was panic in Sonia Gandhi's camp. So they got the CBI to go and file a parallel complaint. So that suited me. I said, let CBI do its work. If they err here or there, then I will move in my petition. So Mr. Raja, on my petition, went to jail. Then Kandimori went to jail. Maran now is on the way to jail. Chidambaram, I've been trying very hard to send him to jail. I will not let him go. He's in this Aircel Maxis, he is caught. So you may end of July, you may hear about it. In the 2G one, I'm afraid to say, I must say to you that I don't think the judges were fair to me. Probably the judges thought that if they accept my prayer to make Chidambaram an accused, then the government may fall. And maybe they didn't want destabilization and being accused of that. After the judge in Allahabad High Court found Indira Gandhi guilty and unseated her from Parliament, the emergency was declared. And for a long time people were blaming the judiciary for causing this crisis. So maybe the judiciary won. But that process is not over. I have a right to go back to the court and say, please, you made a mistake. They had made a mistake because they gave me a judgment on a thing I did not argue and did not say a word about what I argued. So that was what they said I did not argue was that I did not prove that Chidambaram had taken a bribe. Whereas I had gone in another section to the judges, namely the section which says that if you, sitting in a public office, adopt a policy which benefits somebody, and that is not in the public interest, then you are as guilty as if you have taken a bribe. So I had already proved that it was not in public interest because the license had got cancelled. So Chidambaram should have been declared as an accused and prosecuted, but the judges deliberately said that I did not prove, I think deliberately, that I had not proved that he had taken a bribe, when I had no intention of proving that he had taken a bribe. I had an intention to catch him on something else. And sometimes you have to do that. In this country, they could not catch Al Capone on murder. You know what they caught him on? Income tax. And put him in jail. That was good enough. You know, they put so many income tax cases against him that ultimately he had to go for 32 years to jail. And he died in jail. So, therefore, I used that thing. And I'm back to the Supreme Court in July to say, please cure your petition, your judgment, because you made an error in judgment. I think now that the elections are coming close, the judges are likely to be sympathetic, and Mr. Chidambaram will also go to jail. And in Aircel Maxis, there's already an investigation launched, and in July, we will find out whether Mr. Chidambaram has to be sent. So I created such a scare that the other day before leaving for America, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister that this Jet Air Etihad deal stinks of corruption. I now find that the government has deferred the approval of that project. So one letter can do this. That is the power today of our system. So, of course, there are problems there. I've told audiences many places that the TR jail, Subramanian has complained to a friend of mine that please tell Swamy not to send so many Madrasis to jail. You know, Raja, Kannimuri, Maran, Chidambaram. So he said that all these people come and they want masala dosa, and the TR jail Bawarchi, the TR jail Bawarchi only knows aloo puri. So there's a problem. I said, tell your TR jail, I told my friend, you tell him that you better train his Bawarchi, because soon somebody is going to come demanding spaghetti and ravioli. So, this is one very serious trend which is affecting our country. It is sub-optimizing our allocation of resources, and we have to fight it. We can fight it if we catch big people starting into jail. And I would also say that this new trend in India, where money is becoming everything, this is not inconsistent with our Sanatan Dharma. We are not against material progress in Hinduism. We are only against one-dimensional pursuit of materialism. That you should make material progress, but you also have spiritual advancement. Money is not the determinant of social status in India. In fact, it doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear. I remember when I came as a student to Harvard, first question one my American classmate asked me, how can you all accept Mahatma Gandhi as your leader? I said, why? He said, because he is not properly dressed. So how can you make him as leader? I said, in your country he has to be properly dressed. He said, of course. Otherwise we will not vote for him. He must be in the best suit, he must have lovely shining shoes. In fact, he said that Nixon lost his debate to Kennedy because he didn't shave that day. On that ground, he said he lost the election. So the same way, or say lost the debate. The same way, you see our religious leaders also. They reached the height of, they are regarded as saintly people, but they were only one bhagwa kapda. You see the Pope, he's in satin gown, he's got ruby necklace, diamond necklace, sapphire necklace, his topi also has so much jewels. You see the Mufti in Makkah. Our sadhus, you see, whether it is Swami Dayanand Saraswati or Sri Ravi Shankar or Baba Ramdev, how do they dress? With the most simplest of the cloth. And yet we venerate them. That was our system. That money is not the determinant. The person's knowledge, his sacrifice, these things are placed much higher. But slowly we have now gone into this one-dimensional mode. Make more money. The more money you have, the more social status you have. This is driving corruption. This is the main thing which is driving corruption in our country. And we have to change that. And you're not going to be happy if you just go on making money. Because otherwise, why do you explain all these foreigners, particularly rich Americans coming to our sannyasis and going to our ashrams, wanting to find out how to be happy? Even that Hollywood actress, what's her name, Julia Roberts, she came and she told the head of that ashram that I have won every Oscar I have millions of dollars in my bank account, but I am not happy. And then when he taught her how to be happy, she went back and converted to Hinduism along with the entire family. And you find that now in large numbers, even that man that Apple, Stephen Jobs, he was a vagabond till he came to the ashram in Varanasi. And then went back and he was transformed. So this message must now go back. I went to the IIM and addressed the students, and afterwards I asked them, why have you come after all this stiff examination? What are you going to get? They said, we'll get a good job. I said, you mean you're not coming for marketing theory, learning finance theory, or organization theory, or economics, but you come to so you can get a good job? 99% of the class said to me, yes, we are only here in Ahmedabad, I am Ahmedabad, because once we get the chop, we'll get a job. We'll even get a job before we graduate. This is a very wrong attitude which is not going to make us happy, and it certainly will propel greed. Greed will propel corruption. So long-term solution to corruption is we must go back to the Sanatan Dharma values of having enough, and if you have more than enough, then give donation, be philanthropic. Only then you will be placed in the social hierarchy of society. So this is one trend which we have. It's a dangerous trend. We have to fight it, and we must ensure that the new government that comes to power will fight corruption in a serious way. Development or trend is this infiltration, conversion, terrorism. This is rocking our society, and it's entirely because there is support from the political elements to these things. Infiltration is because the Congress party thinks that these people will all be our voters, so let them come. Sonia Gandhi herself tells her colleagues, if all the Muslims vote for us, that is 14%, and Christians are 3%, so 17%. Then scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, liberal Hindus, those who can be purchased, all will go to 30%. And with 30%, we'll get 160 seats in parliament, and nobody can form a government without us. Either we'll form the government, or we'll have a third front government supported, which we will support from outside. So this is the mentality which is there, that you can do anything to the country for your vote bank is safe. And this infiltration is taking place. Conversion, Christian conversion is taking place in a big way in our country, because again, it is being supported by Sonia Gandhi. Terrorism within our country, you know that in Chhattisgarh this time, everybody, the NIA has found from phone records that it was the Congress party which changed the route plan of those Congress people who went on the thing. And the reason was that the president of the Congress party was the founder or the inventor of this Salva Judum thing of arming the peasantry or the tribals to kill the terrorists. And so Sonia Gandhi wanted to sacrifice it, because that was the demand of the Maoists, that they will help you in elections if this man is sacrificed. This is something which this government will never allow us to prove, but I am sure that it will be there. Same thing with the LTT also. Got a lot of support from Congress party. I am not saying this. I was, at that time when Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated, I was the minister, law minister. I had law portfolio with me. I appointed a commission headed by Justice J.S. Verma on the security failure. And his report, which is now collecting dust, says that the security arrangements made for Rajiv Gandhi were perfect, but they were deliberately disrupted by congressmen. And this should be further investigated. That report was put under the carpet by the successor Narasimha Rao government because of pressure from Sonia Gandhi. And they set up another circus called Jain Commission, which ultimately came to nothing. So all these developments are dangerous because there is political involvement. And we have to make sure that these terrorists do not get their way. And you have to take a tough stand. I went to Kashmir on 22nd of May. I have a party unit there, BJP does not have a party unit in Srinagar, but Janata Party has. They are 100% Muslims. All Muslims who say Kashmir is a part of India. They are even in our party function, it was started with the song of Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara. And I went and addressed a meeting in Lal Chowk where all the terrorists live. And there I announced that no, Kashmir we will never part with. Every inch of Kashmir is ours. The pressman asked me, what about Jawaharlal Nehru's promise of holding plebiscite? I said, go and ask Jawaharlal Nehru. So they said, why? You are not bound by what the previous government decides. I said, no, it's not previous government. I, as a minister, investigated when I was a minister, the offer of the promise of plebiscite by Jawaharlal Nehru was not a cabinet decision. It was never put before the cabinet. So I am not bound by it. Then one pressman jokingly said, how can we meet Jawaharlal Nehru now? I said, go and talk to a terrorist, he will send you there. So afterwards, I had a huge crowd by the Kashmir standards. There were 3,000 people. And all of them told me that the only reason we cannot come out openly against terrorists is that they do a propaganda that India, like they gave up, like the Hindus gave up on Pakistan after saying no, 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 then they gave Pakistan. The same way they'll say no, no, no in Kashmir, and finally they will make Kashmir, give away Kashmir. He said, you remove this uncertainty, we'll come out in the open. Today the terrorists are threatening us. Oh, wait, another 2 years, India will leave Kashmir. And then all these delegations go there, autonomy, this and that. So, our whole problem today in terrorism is only lack of firmness. The only time the firmness was shown was shown in Punjab when that police DGP, Sadaji, I forget his name, Gill. He wiped them out, all unethical means, but he wiped them out. How can you have human rights when you are dealing with terrorists? They are not only, Geneva Convention only applies if it is a regular army fighting. And I did it in Tamil Nadu, which is why the LTT is so mad with me, or the remains of the LTT. There is no LTT left now. But in 1991, we dismissed the DMK government, and I was a minister, and we wiped out the LTT from Tamil Nadu. After that, the LTT could never come overground. So you have to deal with terrorists with a firm hand. There is no negotiating poor people. What poor people? Osama bin Laden is a billionaire. How can you call him a poor man? All these chaps in Kashmir, they've got huge bank accounts all fed in by ISI. So that is another thing where we need firmness. Otherwise, India is going to have a lot of problems. If this kind of, there are a lot of politicians who pay money to terrorists to help them in the election. I know one politician in Jharkhand, he comes to parliament because he pays money to the Naxalites. So this kind of trend comes, then we have had it, our country will be programmed. What I've already spoken to you about, this globalization is creating a new crass multilateralistic culture. We must make multilateral progress, we must become developed countries in the world, but we are doing it in a way by which this whole society might be disintegrated. We cannot imitate what has happened in the West. We must see that our value system remains intact while we are making material progress. That's why spiritual advancement is concerned. These three trends, in my opinion, are very dangerous for the country. They will undo the society. But there are some positive trends also. Thanks to the Indian people who in the emergency opposed Jabardasti in family planning, today we are the youngest population on the average. The average age of an Indian is 28. Average age of a Chinese is 37, because they adopted that one child per family thing. Average age of an American is 38. Average age of a European is 48. Average age of a Japanese is 50. These are old populations. Economic growth is always accelerated by innovations. Like railways came, industrial revolution. Then jet engines came, the American economy pulled up. Internet came, American came out of a crisis and they now came to the top. So innovations are very important, but innovations are done by young people. They come out of universities, join the research team. So we have this potential. All these other people are losing this young population. It's getting fewer and fewer in percentage terms. So India must educate its demographic dividend, its young population. And today these new projects are coming up of online education. We must reach it to the villages, and our people must. Our young people have demonstrated here. They are all what your spelling bee, Indian is on top. You find all the in the classes anywhere I talk to the teachers, they say, "Oh, Indians are very, very bright." So our native intelligence nobody can doubt, but it needs to be flowered. It needs to be needs to be fine-honed. You see, and for that we need a good educational system. The present education system is totally out of date. We need people to learn to take risk. Indians don't like risk. In my class at Harvard, when we had people from many countries, including India, at the end of the class I used to ask them, now that you are going to get a degree, what kind of job are you going to search? What kind of a profession you are going to go? Either you can take, I said, a project which is risky and you may become a billionaire like Microsoft man became, Bill Gates, or you can fall on your face, lose everything and be on the street. This is one kind of job. Another job is you join, your salary will increase every year by 5% and your provident fund will be accumulating, and at the age of 65 you will retire, you will get your provident fund pension, and then you watch television or you go to the city park and feed the birds. Which kind of Americans would ask me, what is the probability I'll fall flat? And you tell me the probability of falling flat on my face and losing everything, then I will tell you which project which job I would prefer. But the 99% of the Indians would say, no, we like the second job. I said, why second job? That is guaranteed poverty. They say, but it is guaranteed, that is the point. So this Indian search for stability. We need a mind change on that. We must learn to take risk. Here the children all will be going on saying, why? Parents say anything there. In India, if a child says, why, he'll get a slap. Like kid. So we do not encourage questioning mind. We don't encourage taking risk. We need a new Indian who is dynamic, who takes a risk and is willing to understand that he can lose it. So this is one aspect where we have to do a lot. And now, thanks to online education, we can really give quality education to our people. So this is one favorable potential which we need to develop. And finally, we now have a deepening democracy in our country, and that means participation. We must now more and more encourage people to enter politics. For these last 60, 70 years, we have created an atmosphere that joining politics is dirty. Only hoodlums, gundas come. And they created a vacuum, and gundas and badmashis have all come into politics. We need a revolt movement, and people must join. There are various ways of joining. You don't have to contest election. You can be part of a campaign, you can be part of a party, you can raise issues. And in many ways, all this can be done. But I think we need now fresh blood induction into Indian politics, because we are really lacking. Look at this country, so many educated people end up in politics. Even George Bush, who was thought to be an idiot, he had an MBA from Harvard. And Obama, he was on top of his class in law. But in India, you will find this very few. In fact, when I joined, people said, "You are mad, you left Harvard and came. You know, this is not meant for you, this is meant for crooks and thieves and thugs. Nobody encouraged me. So here, we must learn from here, and this is also our tradition. Ramayana and Mahabharata are both political tales, you see. It's all about politics. So we have to therefore create a new mindset to encourage people to do politics. How this can be all set right. I think therefore now we have reached a crossroads in that sense, or rather a T-junction. Either we bring back people like who we brought back earlier to power, you will go straight down, you will be on a tailspin down to a crash. Or you bring a new set of people. There is now a hope based on what you see is the difference in development in Gujarat. And therefore Modi's name has come up. And Modi will be most probably the face of the campaign of the NDA. He's already chairman of the campaign committee, which means every candidate will be obliged to him. So even if you tomorrow say, no, MPs will come, get elected and come and vote, I can tell you they'll all come and vote for Modi because he would have helped them in the campaign. So I would say very clearly, if the NDA gets majority, he will be the Prime Minister of this country, and we'll have a new team, and we hope that all these things that I pointed out to you will do differently. What I like about Modi is that he is the only BJP leader whom Sonia Gandhi doesn't like. There's something in that, because last time the NDA was in power, they were very lenient with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi was caught here in Boston. It was the India government which called up George Bush's government and said, please leave him, it's good for Indo-US relations if you do not prosecute him. Same thing on Sonia Gandhi's KGB and antique smuggling. She stole all the murtis from prominent temples and went and auctioned it in London. But again, the India government was soft on her. We need now, I don't call this her anymore Sonia Gandhi, I call her Tadaka. You see, you know in Ramayana, I don't know how you pronounce it, Tadaka or Tadaka? Tadaka. Tadaka, you see. Earlier on I called her Vishkanya, but now she's grown up to Tadaka. So, she has to be brought to book. She has got 100,000 crores in foreign bank accounts. Came from a completely poor family. How you can get 100,000 crores? And everything about her a lie. Her real name is not Sonia, it is Antonia. Even her education, she has not passed 5th class, but she said, what? I educated in the University of Cambridge and got an English degree. She put in an affidavit. I went to Cambridge to give a lecture. The Cambridge University gave me a letter that there is no such student. So I went and gave it to the speaker and said, you ask her an explanation because it's in Lok Sabha who's who. Her name is that she's got a degree in Cambridge. So she replied saying it was a typing mistake. The speaker said, "Ab kya karna hai?" I said, you send it to the Guinness Book of World Record for the longest typing mistake in history. The typing mistake can be comma, full stop, not a whole sentence. Studied in the University of Cambridge and got a degree in English. So this is the kind of thing, she won't even tell you the truth about herself. What was she doing in London from 1963 to 1968? She married Rajiv Gandhi in 1968. Does anybody know? No. I know, but I'm too ashamed to tell you. So, therefore, a person whose background you don't know, who's connected with the Opus Dei, who's connected with the Catholic Church, the Pope, the Vatican, and wants to openly, support missionaries who want to convert in India. She nearly did it through Vaisar, that is Vais Reddy in Andhra. So, all this put together, sabotage the... Okay. I knew that she was losing influence. So I am saying to you today some of the things that you could do. People ask me, what can we do? You can't give money because political parties cannot receive money. I am however of the view that we should now think in long term. This election, I think, we will win easily. But we should now think of creating new types of politicians. And for that, we need a institute which trains politicians who know all the, they should have a regular course, maybe 6 months course. You want to be a politician, take this course. People will pay, but you need the infrastructure. So all of you in this country could band together. If you raise 20 crores, you can have a very good institute. Like here, you have think tanks all over. We need an institute for training politicians. There are many other things you can do, but it's much tougher. Previous visit, everybody convinced me I should start a TV station. And I started one. I got permission from the government, everything cleared, and it was called Krishna TV. But then I found that all those who promised me money didn't deliver. Because in India, people were afraid, oh, it's your TV station, then Sonia Gandhi will find out and we'll be in trouble. So take it in cash. I said, I can't take it in cash because then how will I show the expenditure? You see. So that project fell through. But today I'm saying to you, after a new government has come, one of the NRIs can do is set up an institute in India which trains politicians. And you can have a unit here so that they can get some international exposure also by coming and saying and completing, come here for 1 week or 2 weeks and learn something here. So this is one thing you can do. Second thing you can do, if you want to help the elections, Rahul Gandhi studied in Rollins College in Winter Park near Orlando. He must have paid tuition fees. How did he pay? He must have submitted a passport also. So you can always hire a private detective and find out where he paid the money from. I can tell you just now where he paid it, but I have no documentation. Paid it from Cayman Island through Bank of America. But the university would have the record. They will not give it to me if I ask it officially because they consider it for I don't know what reason confidential. Unless they say you file a criminal case in India, then we can give it to you. But I can't find, it's a chicken and egg question. I can't file a criminal case unless I have documents. And I can't get documents unless there's a criminal case. This is something you can do. Yesterday there was a news item, I don't know how many of you saw, that a company, American US company, has written to the FBI saying that we were defrauded of $1.1 million by Jagdish Titler. And that Jagdish Titler took this money saying that Ms. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi are part of this project that we are asking $1.1 million. Now, any of you can easily get this. Somehow access the FBI, find out what this case is about. This new item is going around in the Twitter and in the thing. You should be able to do it. If you get the foreign bank account of Rahul Gandhi through this source, university, then Modi can go home and sit at home and wait for the announcement of his being elected as Prime Minister, because that will destroy them. So I want to tell you that there are the way you can assist is not by coming and campaigning. There are enough people there. Yes, there may be issues you can help us in. For instance, we want to be free from the Middle Eastern oil supplies. It's a big burden for us. And it also affects our politics. There are substitutes to oil, like, for example, hydrogen fuel cells. What is lacking? What is the research area that is still to be done? What the government of India can do? Similarly, thorium, uranium will be exhausted by 2050, and the world is going to turn to thorium. America has already started research. We have already started research long time ago, thanks to Homi Bhabha. But we have stopped now because we got this Indo-US nuclear deal. So what further needs to be done to be able to use thorium to generate fission in the nuclear reactors? So research is another area where you find out and submit. And that's why if there's an institute, it becomes easy. It becomes part of the website. And it can be used for discussion in the institute. So these are the kinds of things you can do, because that's where you have got the strength. We don't want manpower. We got plenty of manpower in India. We want your intellect to be utilized, your access, and that way we can bring about a major change in our thinking. This is what I want to say. If you have any questions, thank you very much. The reason why we reached this kind of a T-junction. Let me say that don't forget that for centuries this country was world #1 as an economic power, leave alone military power. We did not conquer any country, but our influence spread far and wide, particularly in Asia. And the impact of it you can see even today in China, in Cambodia, in Vietnam, Indonesia, and all of the rest of Asia. We haven't really explored what about Latin America and Americas before Columbus came. But I'm saying that this glorious tradition is of India. Don't you ever forget that. When you are in a moment of, shall I say, despondency about the future of India, a country which has been for centuries such a tremendous civilization, can recover at any time. How we came to this position is another matter, but we have made mistakes since 1947, which we, the moment we rectify those mistakes, immediate changes we can see. 47, Jawaharlal Nehru became Prime Minister, and in 1950 he introduced the Soviet
you, I need to do this to look at you. The question answer period goes to 1:20 p.m. However, Dr. Swamy needs to eat before he leaves, so we're going to stop at 1 p.m. Is that okay, Dr. Swamy? Okay. So we have the effect of on the election, upcoming elections in 2014, where everybody thinks from this crowd's point of view, and Modi is the best candidate. How is this going to be affected by several organizations and individuals? In the individuals, they are worried about the statements made by L.K. Advani and Nitish Kumar. In terms of parties, it's Aam Aadmi Party, the of course, Kejriwal and what he's doing. Also, how Baba Ramdev ji movement has affected the society and is going to affect the elections. So, Dr. Swamy, this is
okay. First of all, as far as the NDA is concerned, there are 7 parties. BJP, JDU, Shiv Sena, Akali Dal, Janata Party, then there is a Northeast People's Party, also Mr. Sangma, and one Republican Party which originally Ambedkar founded but now broken into several parts. So one of the parts is by Ramdas Athawale. These are the 7 parties. Now, as far as Modi's question is concerned, 6 of them have no problem at all. It's only JDU which is making the noise. But I can say today that JDU is the beneficiary of this alliance. And if it leaves, the beneficiary would be the BJP. Because in Bihar, what we found in this recent by-election for parliament, Maharajganj, which Nitish lost, there was a sharp contrast between what happened in Gujarat in the by-elections and what happened in Bihar in one by-election. In Gujarat there were 6 by-elections, 2 parliament, 4 assembly. And Modi did not visit any of those places. And yet he won all 6, and all 6 were originally held by congressmen. So that was a clean sweep, a clean indication. In the case of Bihar, Nitish campaigned there, camped there, and yet they lost it. And it turns out that certain caste groups, upper caste like Bhumiyas, are so annoyed with him that they went and campaigned for the opposition candidate, which was Lalu Yadav's. And he was defeated. So we find that his contribution is now under attack, in fact. His public popularity is doubtful. And if he leaves the NDA, it will be a suicide. And so I don't see any need for anybody to worry about the noise that he will make about Modi. As far as inside the BJP is concerned, when the chips are down, they all fall in line. Advani was taking a stand, hard stand, etc. Said that, everything is going wrong, the style of functioning party is wrong, etc. And then the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, called him up and he said he's taking back his resignation. In the BJP, no leader has a faction. Congress party or other parties, leaders have factions. So one leader leaves, the faction also leaves. But in BJP, the workers are all owing loyalty to this RSS. And therefore, if RSS decides on one direction, others cannot do. They can make noises and all that, but they cannot affect the BJP. And that is why I think you should not worry about any one leader or 2 leaders or 3 leaders making anything, because RSS provides the workers, and if they don't provide the workers, you will be zero. I also want to draw your attention to what happened in Karnataka. In Karnataka, the BJP vote declined 14%. Yediyurappa got 9%. The remaining 5% went to different parties, of which 3% went to Devagowda's party of Janata Dal, secular, different from Janata Dal U. In other words, the Congress party did not gain from the loss of reputation of BJP. It was the other parties which gained. So the atmosphere against Congress is so strong that even in a situation like Karnataka, people did not increase their vote to Congress, and Congress won because there was a vote division of the BJP vote, and not because Congress popularity increased and therefore they won. So I would not worry too much about these things. I would far more worry about some foul methods used by Sonia Gandhi. Till this Intelligence Bureau chief, Mr. Ibrahim, first time Muslim, he took the stand that I will not allow my officer to be subject to police questioning because this will create a new trend, and that Israt Jahan was actually a Lashkar-e-Toiba lady who was killed because she was trying to flee in a car with other people. What Sonia Gandhi was trying to do is to say, get it to be said that Modi ordered her killing. She was an innocent woman. And therefore, Modi should be prosecuted. Therefore, for interrogating him, he should be taken into jail. That was the game plan. And went to jail, God knows, because this woman is, she's got the KGB background. She might stick a injection into him and, try to finish him off. So therefore, we were a little concerned. But now that has fallen through. So those are the kind of things that we need to worry about. Not now will other parties come? It depends on the campaign. If our campaign is based on not only fighting corruption and carrying conviction with people, yes, we should not be ourselves corrupt and talk about corruption. Then nobody will believe us. So the leaders projected should be such about whom there is no doubt, not only Modi but other leaders. The team should be so projected that there is no doubt that these people, if they say they will fight corruption, they can fight corruption. That is one. And two, Hindutva, where you make people rise above their community, language, state, and vote as Hindus. Out of 80%, if half, namely 40% Hindus, decide to vote as one, as a party which will defend the Hindu interest, you will get more than absolute majority. Very comfortable absolute majority. Already BJP has 28% of the vote. It's a 12% vote more addition. So let Sonia Gandhi do anything to consolidate the Muslim vote, but the Hindus consolidate, then there is no answer. And therefore, I think you should not at all be worried that what is going to happen. You should know that we are well set now, and certainly I think the possibility of either 250 or 14 or earlier elections, you are going to see an NDA government.
More questions? I have a very good announcement to make. And this is about if the idea of a political institute materializes as heard from you, I will join and pledge ₹5 lakhs and will deliver the money by check. So please stand up and I request you to give Dr. Swamy your card because it doesn't have a name here. Okay.
Who is $5 lakh or $5 lakh?
₹5 lakhs. Okay. Who your name, please? Murthy. Thank you.
I will take a rain check on that.
Okay, now, couple of, I want to get rid of Sonia's questions about Sonia. You've already said a lot about her. This is one in Hindi. सोनिया किस मिट्टी की बनी है जो इसको जेल में डालने में इतनी देर हो रही है? And why is not Sonia sent to jail? So basically there are more questions of that nature. So just
देखिए ये सवाल वही तरीके के सवाल है जो अंग्रेज़ों के बारे में पूछा जाता है। टोटल अंग्रेज़ की जो शक्ति थी यहाँ के, उनके फ़ौज 10,000 से ज़्यादा नहीं थी और 1942 में 1 लाख थी, बट हम तो करोड़ों में थे। अब हजार बकरी एक जगह खड़ी है और एक शेर आ जाए तो संख्या तो बकरी के पास है, बट भागेगा भी बकरी ही भागेगा। तो ये संख्या का सवाल नहीं है, ये एक मंशा के सवाल है, क्योंकि सत्ता में बैठकर अब जहाँ तक जब एनडीए सरकार थी उन्होंने उनको बचाया, नहीं तो वो जेल चले जाती। मेरे केस में जेल चले जाती, परजली में जेल चले जाती, लेकिन उस समय सरकार ने उनको बचाया तो इसीलिए बच गए। तो यह है एक्सप्लेनेशन। आज जो है उसकी इतनी सारा जो पावर उसके हाथ में कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड है, उस कारण से लोग डरते हैं। मीडिया कवरेज नहीं करेगी तो इनकम टैक्स के लोग आ जाएंगे, और कोर्ट्स में लोगों को पता है कि इसके ऊपर एक्शन होगा तो सरकार गिर सकती है या और कुछ हो सकता है। लेकिन ये सारा परमानेंट मामला नहीं है। ये तो मैं आपको बताने चाहता हूँ कि आप देखेंगे मेरा एक केस है नेशनल हेराल्ड का, जो मैंने कल बैठे सबको समझाया। ऐसा केस है कि उसमें निश्चित फंसेगी, तो अगस्त में मैं दोबारा यहाँ आऊँगा तो तब मुझसे पूछ लेना। मैं तो समझता हूँ कि सोनिया को जेल भेजे बिना मैं तो सोने वाला नहीं हूँ, इसीलिए। और उसके वो 1 लाख करोड़ भी वापस लाना है, तो इसीलिए आप इसमें ऐसा मत सोचिए कि उसकी कोई बड़ी शक्ति है। ये हमारी कमजोरी है, इसकी शक्ति नहीं है। और जिस दिन हम लोग में हिम्मत आ जाएगी तो इसको तो कभी भी अंदर कर सकते हैं।
When Sonia Gandhi was instrumental in getting her husband here, what stops her from not getting to Modi? And Dr. Swamy, do you think your own life is in danger with so much knowledge about corruption in the family?
Well, she can't get us easily killed because she has to make it like as if some mob came and attacked me or something like that. Because if you hire a killer, then he is easily traceable. It's not that I don't have friends all over the world who keep track of these things. So, yes, she will be trying. She once tried to persuade the LTT to kill me. But the LTT was feeling that I'm good friends with the Israelis, so the Israelis might do something to them. So they found some excuse to put it off. So like that, I can't spell out too much, but we are aware of our desire to pump us all up, and we have taken enough precaution. It's not going to be so easy. Of course, ultimately you have to have Deva Anugraha, and since we are working for society, as Taittiriya Brahmana Upanishad says, God will look after us. So God will always look after us. Twice or thrice it has happened to me, where by what was looking like a certain mob attack on me, which would finish me, something intervened and saved me. So don't worry about that. We'll take care of it. And the more you talk about it, it will only create scare amongst others. This is something that we have taken into account, and we will see that the chances are minimized.
And what action is the government taken to stop that? And the next one is, what is the sustainable GDP growth rate for India? Is it closer to 5% or is it 9 to 10%?
Well, as far as the free fall is due to the fact that the supply of rupees, which is all black money, in a panic state, is flooding the Hawala market, and that's why the price is falling. And it can be rectified, but the government will not do it. Because all the government people are trying to convert as much of their rupee holdings, which is huge, into dollars and put it abroad before they is their government. It's not a big, it's not a malaise in the economy. It is basically because people with black money are dumping rupees on the market. Now, sustainable growth rate, according to me, is 12% per year, average. How do I come to that figure? Growth rate is equal to the rate of investment and divide that by the capital output ratio. Today the capital output ratio is 5, which means 8%. 40 by 5 is 8. But an efficient economy, it should not be more than 3. So if it is 3, then 40 by 3 is more than 13%. So I am assured that if you run the economy efficiently, free from corruption, then the rate of growth will be average 12% per year, as that's sustainable. Could be even higher. Could be even as much as 14. 20 years, 30 years ago, when I said India can grow at 10% per year, nobody believed me. They thought I was just being optimistic. Today I am saying that 12% is the minimum rate of growth for an efficient Indian economy.
For consolidating these, they relate to BJP. One, it starts with the fact that corruption is so rampant in Indian Congress that they have huge amounts of money to spend. Thus, BJP has adequate funds to compete with the Congress. That's one. And then it's about BJP's plan. How does BJP plan to reduce corruption? How does it plan to bring black money back? How does it plan to get the so-called uneducated masses to vote for BJP? What's their education plan? And this is related, but why couldn't BJP not do anything to stop Yadurappa, the father and son team, from getting such a bad name to BJP and lose the election in Karnataka?
First of all, I am not BJP, at least not yet. So I can answer on behalf of NDA. So the government should be of NDA. You see, these are questions in great detail. I think my email is swamy39@gmail.com. You can send it, I will answer it. But broadly speaking, if you want all the money abroad to be brought back, you issue an ordinance. Ordinance is in lieu of a parliament passing an act, new act. So if parliament is not in session, the constitution permits the government to issue what is called as an ordinance, which will become instantly the law. But once parliament reconvenes, it must be passed in that session and adopted. So pass an ordinance that whichever Indian citizen has a bank account in the following 70 countries, which are all tax havens, that account is hereby nationalized by the government of India. Every country under a resolution of the UN of 2005 has to comply with that, provided you put a provision that if anybody can show that this account was legitimately opened and legitimately money was deposited in it, then that particular account will be defrozen and given back to the person. With that proviso, all this money can be brought back. This government won't do it, but I am sure that an Indian government will definitely do it. because it has got the backing of the top legal minds in our country, such as Ali Nariman and others. And therefore, I am saying that bringing back money is not a problem. We can get it done with ease.
So, Dr. Raj Gandhi, how will you deal with China? They have been camping on Indian territory. What would you have done if you were the Prime Minister?
Well, even if I'm a minister, I can do some things. You see, the issue is this. We have spoiled our case over the last 50, 60 years. When India became independent, Tibet was under our influence. We had a consulate there, we had listening posts there, everything. Jawaharlal Nehru decided to hand over Tibet to China. At that time, Sardar Patel objected and said, suppose you have to hand over Tibet to China, at least ensure that the border, which is not demarcated legally, at least tell the Chinese we will not agree to an independent Tibet, to a Tibet as a part of China, unless you agree to this entire line, which is Aksai Chin. There was a McDonald-McCartney line, which very few people know. And in this case, in the eastern side, it was the McMahon line. So, Jawaharlal Nehru ought to have done that. He said, no. Our maps, are final and there's nothing to talk to the Chinese about it. Tibet is handed over. Later on, China has started the same thing. What Patel had warned, no, this is an undisputed, these are disputed areas, their Tibet land has been grabbed by the British, now you have to make adjustments and so on. So after the 1962 debacle, a line was drawn which is called the line of control between India and China. In the eastern sector, it was the line of control which China declared was the McMahon line, because they withdrew behind that line after coming down it. In Aksai Chin, a new line was drawn which would protect their road connecting Tibet to Xinjiang. Now, every day, because the line has not been drawn on a map with exact coordinates, anytime the Chinese feel they come across, it's not that we also don't do a bit of that, but this time 40 Chinese soldiers entered and deep penetrated 19 kilometers into India. Now, of course, they have withdrawn. And the reason they did is because in China also has internal problems. Their PLA, which is the People's Liberation Army, it is having a fight with their foreign ministry. And they took a unilateral step. Had it been a Chinese government decision, then after Indian troops surrounded these 40 Chinese soldiers, they would have sent reinforcements. But they did not send the reinforcements. So it shows that this was some kind of a knee-jerk reaction. My view is, you should always be prepared against China. If they have weapons, we must have weapons. If they build seaports, we should also build seaports. There are very ways we can hurt China. There is a Malacca Strait. If India and Indonesia enter into agreement, no Chinese ship will go through Malacca Strait. The Chinese economy will be finished. So there are many things we can do which we have not done. We have all the time, we fluctuate between how China is friendly and how China is perfidious, etc. So I would say, I don't think that we should fight with China unless we have to. We in fact must now know that China, which has been supporting Pakistan, is now feeling the pain because militants, terrorists from Pakistan are now going to Xinjiang and creating trouble in China. So we must find a way by which we can restrain China, at the same time we don't go into a war. How would I handle it? That's the way I would handle it. I've been successful in many of the negotiations with China. Kailash Mansarovar, Moraji Desai took a bet with me that never the Chinese will agree. They are communists. Why should they agree to open a religious place? I got them to open. I got them to sign a trade agreement which China had been rejecting year after year. I got them to sign. So it's a question of how the Chinese think. The Chinese want to know whether India will support the United States if there is a war between China and United States over Taiwan. Today it looks as if we are so pro-American that we might support the Americans. So they are nervous on that. So you should make a deal on that. If you and Americans fight, that is between you two. We are non-aligned. We'll watch the fun. That kind of give and take has to be done and bring about a change in the Chinese attitude.
Okay. The other one is about the unity. How can we unite either against corruption or Hindus unite and do something? The third one is about your Janata Party. How come you don't have any representation in party? Okay, that one. And the this is a good one. You will consider influence in Sri Lanka. Why Sri Lanka is posing up to China? And this one is a good one. It may be short. If I quit the job right now, or in immediate future, and leave for India, what would you suggest I would do? So I think you can either, please take the food first, and if you want to continue talking.
First of all, the Janata Party didn't find a single seat in 2009 because I had already begun to suspect the electronic voting machine. Electronic voting machine is riggable, and the rigging is done by a microcontroller in the machine, which is not produced in India. It is produced by a private company in Japan. So anyone can make a deal with that company. I asked the Japanese company, do you use this microcontroller in Japanese elections? He said, are you mad? We don't believe in electronic voting machine. We use ballot papers. So who are the countries using ballot papers? Britain, Germany, all democratic countries, Europe, Japan. Who are using electronic voting machines? Venezuela, Nigeria, India. What company we are keeping? So I thought that if we contest election and then I go to Supreme Court will say, what is this? You are contesting at the same time you are appealing against it. So that's why I didn't contest. And finally the Supreme Court has agreed that machines are riggable. They asked me, is there any modification you suggest? I said yes. After I vote, press the button, the red light comes. Then the televisions, there should be a small screen in which it should mention which candidate, serial number, and what is the election symbol, whom I voted for. And then a slip or a card should drop in, which will show the same thing, who you voted for. And after seeing it, you put it in a box and go out. And if there is a dispute, the box will be counted, not rerun of the same machine. This has been now accepted by the Supreme Court. The Election Commission has been told they have to do it, they have agreed to do it, and the next election will be on the modified electronic voting machine, and I will certainly contest. Going on between Janata Party and BJP on merger. So why I should put up candidates? BJP candidates are my candidates. So therefore, that problem will be also over. Now, is there any other?
Yeah, there's one question which is really concerns us here.
Yes.
The question of concern from a reliable source looks like that our phones are being tapped. We are being snooped by Indian consulate. What should be done about it, if anything?
80% of your conversation on the phone should be of use of Sonia Gandhi. After that, we'll stop tapping your phone.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. I think, I'll stop putting any more questions to Dr. Swamy.